There's nothing more unnerving than being on a cruise ship. Just the idea of being stuck on a boat in the middle of nowhere with limited ways to escape gives me the willies. So it's probably best to steer clear of any potentially dangerous situations, which is something that one woman clearly failed to do. This is the disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley. On March 24, 1998, 23-year-old Amy Lynn Bradley boarded the Royal Caribbean cruise ship, the Brilliance of the Seas, with her family. They had planned to visit the Bahamas for spring break, and by all accounts, the family was excited. But on the third day of the cruise, March 26th, Amy was seen at around 11 a.m. entering the disco alone. However, there were no signs of a struggle, and her things were left on the ship, so this theory was quickly ruled out. Another theory is that Amy slipped out of her cabin window in the middle of the night and fell into the ocean. Her family continues to search for answers, but they have received little cooperation from the FBI. After all, the FBI has never even released an official statement on the case. It's almost as if they don't want anyone to know about it. But this theory does unmake much sense, either because Amy would have had to have climbed over the railing to get to the window, and there was no way she would have been able to climb over that without waking up her mother, who shared a bed with her. They even searched under beds and in closets, just in case she was playing a game of hide and seek. Human traffickers often target young women who are traveling alone or in groups, and Amy fit this description. In addition, there were suspicious men loitering around the pool deck where Amy was last seen. These men were described as being of Middle Eastern descent, which led some investigators to believe that Amy may have been taken by an international trafficking ring. One journalist described Amy as an outgoing, vivacious young woman who appeared to be in good spirits before she disappeared. None of the people that had spoken to Amy on the cruise remembered anything unusual about her behavior. No one had seen or heard her arguing with anyone. There was no indication that she had been abducted or taken against her will. When the crew couldn't find Amy, they diverted course and headed back to the port in Florida to search the ship again. The circumstances surrounding Elizabeth's disappearance were eerily similar to Amy's. Like Amy, Elizabeth had been seen dancing in the disco the night before she vanished. Like Amy, she was reported missing after she failed to show up for breakfast. And like Amy, Elizabeth was never found. The two cases remain unsolved and may be connected. But Amy was still nowhere to be found. The police were called and the FBI joined the investigation. At around the same time, her mother, Karen, became concerned when Amy did not show up for lunch. She assumed that Amy was simply hanging out in the disco and would turn up eventually. But when Amy didn't appear by dinner time, Karen reported her missing. They had saved up money for months to afford the trip. During the first 2 days of the cruise, Amy stayed mostly in her cabin with a friend that she had met on the ship named Chris. The crew searched the ship, but they did not find Amy anywhere. By this point, the media had picked up on the story and Amy's face was plastered all over the news. And then there were the weird coincidences. On the day that Amy disappeared, another young woman named Elizabeth Grimes vanished from a different cruise ship off the coast of Mexico. But what could have happened to Amy? Investigators explored many possibilities, including that Amy had been kidnapped by pirates. Perhaps the most compelling theory is that Amy was a victim of human trafficking. Despite these theories, Amy's case went cold after several months. I think that this case deserves more attention. Amy's family deserves more answers. Do you have any theories about what happened to Amy? Let me know in the comments. And do you think that the FBI is hiding something? I certainly do. Thank you for watching.